Average men are going to be stuck in those moments because their identity is shaped by other people telling them who they are, how to respond in this situation. Better men choosing to stand firm in your identity, reclaim the honor of masculinity, and remove yourselves from the fragmented conditions of society. This is the Better Man channel, where our mission is to create an atmosphere, an environment where men begin to discover, explore what it means to be a man, and begin to comprehend their identity, their stance, their position in culture today. I'm Jaron, the former lost boy with no identity, no direction, never exploring, discovering what it truly meant to be a man. But I've taken the initiative to begin to look at myself, look at my life, look at society, and begin to figure out where I fit into that as a man. And I believe it's safe to say we can all agree that in today's climate, masculinity is becoming obsolete. We've replaced with manliness, and we've replaced manhood, and we've replaced the identity of men with just be a good person. And while I believe it's imperative that we have high moral standards, when we begin to strip away the masculinity nature of men, we begin to strip away the very identity of men. And that becomes very detrimental to the progression of a society. A culture without men is not very much of a culture. There's a lot of weakness in that philosophy. So it is Wednesday. On Wednesday, we like to dive into the identity of men, to the who am I existential question that we all encounter at some point in our life. But if you've watched this before, I don't like the words who am I. I believe that leads to comparison. Who am I compared to that person? Who am I compared to them or that? Or who am I compared to their situations? Or who am I compared to what society has told me that I'm supposed to be? I'm supposed to be this as a man. I'm supposed to be this or do this or not do that. Who am I gets us caught in too much bullshit. So I like to replace that with who can I be? Who can I be today? I believe that offers more motivation, more incentive to get up and be the best you can. Who can I be today? How badass can I be at it, instead of limiting ourselves with, well, who am I compared to them or this or that, or who am I compared to what I'm supposed to be? As men, we begin to take control, ownership of our identity. Who the hell do I want to be? Who can I be in relation to the function that I have of life? Whether you're a business owner, a father, whatever role you may have in life, you begin to fit that in your identity as a man, and how you are supposed to operate in accordance with where you are in your position in life. So we've got to begin to form these mental models, right? The more mental models, the more perceptions we have that enable us to walk around life in this three-dimensional view, this enables us to be more well-rounded and have a better identity. I think too often we think as our identity is being very placed and stagnant. This is who I am, this is what I do, and I'm not changing. But a well-rounded identity is one that forms different mental models, has different perspectives, so that we're able to adapt, adjust in any given situation. Because we all know life changes, things change, people change, situations change. And as a man with an evolving adaptive identity, we're better suited to and prepared to engage in different situations, and we have more value to bring in that situation, and we separate ourselves from those who are not willing to adjust, adapt, work, and truly embody their nature of masculinity. Think of the first men. They couldn't be just stuck in one mental model. They had to look at life from different angles. How does this affect me in this? How can I operate better in this situation? What can I do to improve my shelter, my food? What can I do to improve? And we had to have different perspectives. And I think in this lazy, entitled culture that we're now in, we just get stuck in doing what's worked for everyone else, and we go with the flow of the sheep. We become sheep-hearted men. Listen to the governments, to the higher-ups, to bureaucracy, to tell us how to act, what to do. But as men, shaping our own identity, we remove ourselves from that limited way of thinking, that those fragments that they're offering us, those pieces. We want the whole damn pie. So we've got to begin to form these new mental models. Look at things from different angles. And I read this article the other day. A man did a study, and he would ask people in one-on-one conversations, what would you do if a gunman came into a restaurant? What would you do? And the majority of the men he asked started out with, well, I guess I would, and he said, boom, you're shot and dead, man. There's no time to think. Your moments got you killed. And how many of us go through life with those, what would you do in this situation? What would you do in this financial crisis? What would you do in this crisis? How would you respond? And we have no mental model, no perceptions, nothing to build upon because we haven't practiced those. We haven't formed a plan to respond in different situations. And he goes on to say that the correct response in that is to run towards the gunman. Because studies reveal that the gunman thinks he's in power. I got the gun. I'm control this situation. But when you disrupt that, when you run towards him, he has one of those moments and he's not prepared. So we can disarm and disable him. And that's what separates us from the crowd of average. Average men are going to be stuck in those moments because their identity is shaped by other people telling them who they are, how to respond in this situation. But as men, we begin to shape our own identity, build these mental models that prepare us for every situation we may encounter. And this takes time. We got to carve out some time to begin to reflect and meditate upon what would I do in this situation? If this arises, how will I respond? And how can I better respond? And why am I thinking this? Has society taught me to think this? Am I practicing limited perception here? How can I walk around this in a three-dimensional view and begin to create an identity that prepares me for any situation I may encounter? The more perceptions, the more mental models, the more we are able to walk around any situation with a three-dimensional point of view, the more valuable we become. Part of being a man is offering value and being valuable and believing in yourself, being able to adapt to any given situation, right? We see it in the badasses in movies that they're caught up in a horrible situation that seems like they're not going to get out, but they can use this or do this method, or they have all these little tactics and things they can use to get out of the situation. We admire that. We admire men that can rise above the situation. And that's part of our identity. Our masculine nature, being able to pit ourselves against the odds and use courage and mental perceptions and strength and fortitude to overcome those dire circumstances. Know your identity, know you're a man, and begin to experience and practice different methods that can equip you to overcome any situation that you're given. Practice being a man. Don't take anyone else's word for what it means to be a man. Begin to create, shape your own identity. Stand firm in that. Remove the fragments that the world would offer you. Begin to eat the whole damn pie. Become a man capable of arising over any situation. I love you guys. You will hear from me next video.